Listen, brothers and sisters, white people are racist. All of them. Y'all gotta stop this who's not a racist talk. They love this narrative on TV. Scottie Pippen called the coach of the Bulls, Phil Jackson, a racist. And now they all saying, was Phil a racist? That's the wrong narrative. It's not about individuals. White people are racist as a group. Racism is a group, y'all. Racism is not an individual personality characteristic. That's what they want you to think. You know why? Let's say this whole room is full of white folks. Some of you are crackers, but listen. For the sake of conversation, this whole room full of white folks, if they could convince DR.UMAR as a kid that racism is not a group thing, white people do not work together to systematically oppress black folks. That means every time I meet a white person, I have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Do y'all see this? I have to let them in my life. I have to let them in my circle. I have to give them a chance to show me that they're not to be trusted. But what you fail to realize, one chance might cost you your life. All those lynch victims, one chance. James Byrd, Jasper, Texas, 1997-98. Them white boys who drug our brother to his death, they were his friends. One chance. That's how white folks keep black people distracted. That's why we can't get involved in black liberation, because I got to study this white person before I judge him. I got to study this white person before I judge him. I got to study this white person before I judge him. But when the white person walks in a room full of black folks, it's all one. You got to understand all white people are racist. There's not a white person. The Scandinavians is racist. The French is racist. Italians, Anglos, Jews, they have to be. What do you mean they have to be racist? Because white people are genetically inferior. What do you mean by that? The white man can only reproduce himself in a white woman. The white man cannot reproduce himself in a black woman, Latino, Chinese, Arab, Mexican. Anything the white man touch produces more of that. He's genetically recessive. The black man is genetically dominant. If I touch a white woman, that's a black child. Chinese woman, that's a black child. Not that you cool sugar. Like, yo, I can't even make a damn point. I can't even look at it there, yeah. Chinese cookies, yeah. Yeah. I knew he'd come around, yeah. I want to be a Mexican, yeah. But the point that I'm making, not that black men should, because I'm against it totally. But if I touch the woman of another community, I make myself. And I'm the only man in the world who can do that. The black woman is the only woman in the world that can do that. This is why they don't like you. This is why nobody likes us. This is why we have no friends. They hate the fact that the black man can reproduce himself with himself. They hate the fact the black woman can reproduce herself. And then they shame you into not having children. You're the only people in the world who get shamed for having large families. I was in China twice. They making babies. East India making babies. You think they listen to the white man talking about some damn birth control? East India is like the third fastest growing country in terms of population. China is second. Ain't nobody listen to the white man. The reason the white man say stop having babies, because his women don't do a good job of keeping them. Oh, you ain't read the news? Last year, it was reported, or the year before, that 25 of the 50 United States, listen to me, and then I want you to do your research, so you don't think I'm making this up. You'll find it. 25 of the 50 United States reported a population growth rate of 0% for white people. Do you know what that means? That means in those 25 states, that is half the country, more white people are dying than are being born. So if you're wondering why, Black power! Black power! Black power! But you'll get some cool in here who say, that's not good. Let me go help her. Betsy May! So I believe that part of the reason for the uptick in hate crimes against black people, and part of the reason for the uptick in police genocide against black people, it was always there. But the uptick, part of that is the rage of the white man who says, while we're trying to get rid of them, we're the ones losing. Do y'all see that? And I'm going to tell you another reason why this is happening, because even though they're trying to LGBTQ the black children, just by consequence, you're LGBTQ on the white kids. So you're taking white folks who already have trouble reproducing, and now you're going to push the gay thing on them. And so even though you really want it for the black kids, you're eating your own numbers up too, trying to get us. Yes, brothers and sisters. They hate black folks. Why do you think during the lynchings, they always castrated the black men? They lynched the Chinese. They didn't castrate Chinese. During the anti-Chinese movement in the 1800s, they couldn't stand Chinese, but they didn't castrate. They hung Jews. They hung Italians. They hung Mexicans. They hung Native Americans. They did not castrate. 99% of the time, whenever they hung a black man, they castrated. Why did they castrate the black man, but they didn't castrate the other men? It was because of the genetic power of the black man, not the size of the black man. See, some brothers, yeah, they jealous because I'm thinking, no. Not all black men are blessed. Plenty of sisters will tell you. Plenty of sisters will tell you. It ain't because of your size. It's because the power to reproduce yourself at will. One black man, 1,000 white girls could turn that whole city black in 20 years. That's why they want you to give your daughter an HPV shot. And some of y'all let y'all little girls take these HPV shots, say they want to prevent genital warts and cancer. Y'all better cut it out. They making our little girls sterile. Teach. So many black women getting abortion, find out they'll never be able to have another child because they fixed their fallopian tubes. Teach. This is war. We once owned 500 hospitals in this country. We hardly own any now. Did y'all know that? In 400 years, we own 500 hospitals. You know what that means? That means black people owned at least one hospital for every year we've been here. Under white power, because we've been here longer, but under white power. More than a hospital. Where the black hospitals at? And you wonder why we dying like flies when we go see them. Only thing the white man want to do when a black person comes to the hospital is give you a prescription or cut something out. That's it. And then when they cut something out, they don't even do it right. They just stitch you up any kind of way they want. White woman got to get a surgery, they put everything back. Black woman get a surgery, they have a big ass stitch going from your underarm to your head. Or they stitched up the chicken or something. Brothers and sisters, all white people are racist. The reason you have trouble understanding that is because you look at racism as a form of hatred. You don't have to hate people to be a racist. I need you to get this out of your mind. Teach. Your white friends might like you, but they still racist. Racism is about what? Controlling opportunities and resources. Racism ain't about whether I like black folks. Racism is about whether I want white people to be in charge of black folks. Correct. You see the difference? Y'all think they gotta hate you to be a racist. No, they don't. No, they don't. Racism can come with hate. It doesn't have to come with hate. The only thing that you have to do to be a racist is to want to deny another group their opportunities and privileges so your group can monopolize them. That's racism. And by that definition, can you name a white person who's ever tried to undo it? You can't name me nobody. Coons always trying to bring me names of some liberal white person. Somebody said Jane Elliott. What about Jane Elliott? Tim Wise. Listen, I can respect what they say, but here's my question for Jane Elliott and Tim Wise. What have you done to level the playing field? I don't care about the books and the speeches and the interviews. No. When have you went amongst your own white people? When we wasn't around. See, these white liberals, they love to come in front of us and show off how liberal they are. No, that's not, you can't do nothing here. You have to go amongst the people who are imposing the oppression. Correct. And once you get amongst the white people, Jane Elliott and Wise, what are you doing amongst them? Correct. No answer. They're not doing anything amongst them. That's why you can't bring me no white people talking about DrUMAR. I found one, he's different. White people don't share power with black folks. That's right. Why do you think they gentrify in Houston? Because they don't want you around.
Thank you.
Philadelphia, we lead the nation in gentrification. We just passed San Francisco and Seattle. Guess what else Philadelphia leads the nation in? Charter schools. So what is the relationship between the charter school and gentrification? It's real simple. If you want to get rid of black people, you can't just show up and force them to leave. You gotta make it look like you're coming to help them.
Correct.
So what you do is you show up in the black ghetto in Houston and tell the black folks that you opened up a charter school. And the mothers and fathers will be so excited that they now have an educational option that they won't pay attention to the fact that all the teachers and staff who work for the charter school are buying up all the houses in the neighborhood and all the storefronts and all the lots, and they secretly raising up the property value. And so what looked like it was going to be that Nat Turner School for Black Liberation became the Adolf Hitler charter school for white crackerism. If you want to get rid of black people, open up a charter school.
Facts.
This will do some research. Look at the cities with the most charter schools. They have the highest amounts of gentrification. That's a fact. If you want to get rid of black people, act like you want to help their kids. They won't push back. Guess who else is part of the gentrification movement? The banks. Excuse me, not the banks. Your universities. The universities and colleges are some of the biggest gentrifiers in the city. Give me the top schools in Houston, and I'll tell you the top gentrifiers in Houston. Did you know the number one job of a university is not education, but real estate? Did you know the number one business of McDonald's is not burgers and fries, it's real estate? Yes! The fast food joints, the banks, the universities and colleges, and the charter schools are all part of the gentrification movement.
Teach!
And you Negroes got a nerve to think when you see a new Walmart, you thought that was for you. I was in the ghetto the other week, they built a new Walmart in North Philly. I had a Negro saying, wow, look what they gave us. Negro, three things when you see them, you know you ain't got much longer in that neighborhood. Walmart,
Facts.
movie theater,
Facts.
Starbucks.
Facts.
You see a Starbucks, it's over. Negroes come and say, oh my God, my neighborhood has improved so much. When I was growing up, we didn't have a Starbucks. Now we got a movie theater. I can walk to the movies. I got a Walmart down the street. Negro! This ain't for you! White folks showing up, putting cars in your door. You ever thought about selling? And y'all so thirsty, you say, well, my mom paid $50,000 for this house. Back in 1940, the white people offered me $250,000. I stand to make $200,000. No, you don't, because you're not accounting for the cost of, what's the word? Inflation. Not only that, can I ask you a question? Once you take that little measly $250,000 for grandmama's house, which probably worth $1 million, but once they give you that $250,000 that you're gonna pay taxes on, where you gonna live at? Do you know what you about to go do? What is your silly ass about to go right back out there and do? Buy another house! You already own one! But you were so intoxicated at the sight of money that you didn't even realize they are making you homeless or will make you buy all over again. And this time you ain't gonna pay 50 grand like grandma. Stop selling your real estate. Hold on to it for your children. Every time I see a Negro sold their house, I say, what about your kids? What do you mean, what about my kids? What about passing wealth down? What do you think is worth more than your great-grandson? This $250,000 that ain't gonna be around when he's 25? Or if you would have held on to that house, which will still be around when he's 25. The problem with black people is we don't think about generations unborn. We think about ourselves. We are one generational thinkers. We might be two generational thinkers. We'll think about our kids. We might be three generational thinkers. We might think about our grandkids. But I tell you what, you're not. You're not a 20 generational thinker like the Jews. You're not a 50 generational thinker like the Chinese. They thinking about their great-great-great-grandchildren, great-great-great-grandchildren. We don't think that long. You know how I know? Because if you did, you wouldn't be spending $30 billion on weed, perm, and beauty products every year. Because you can't pass no damn weed down. Have you ever seen somebody take off that nasty ass thing and put it in a family book and say, this is for my great, great, great granddaughter so she can have the blonde weed made in Malaysia? Who ever saw some shit? You ever see somebody say, I'm passing these Air Jordans down. They're the special edition 15s, Michael Air Jordan 15, so my great, 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 great grandson can have a pair of the special edition Jordan 15s. So you spend $30 billion a year on weed, perm, and beauty. You spend $2 billion a year on Air Jordan. What about liquor? Have you ever seen somebody say, I'm going to put this special bottle of effing, or what else y'all drink? Crown Royal? What else out there? Because I don't drink. Patron. I'm going to save this. Ciroc vodka, so my great, great, great grandkids can know what it was like to turn up back in 2021. Can somebody tell me, what do black people pass down that we waste money on? Help me out. Well, let's go to chicken, turkey, beef, and pork. We spend $800 million a year, nationally, black people, on chicken, turkey, beef, and pork. Have you ever seen somebody wrap up a Sunday dinner and say, I'm going to save this damn heart disease and cancer. I'm going to save this for my great, 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 so they can know how grandma made her chicken and ribs. Huh? What about the video games that y'all buy y'all kids? And can I say this? I want to know, how is there a video game system in a house with a child barely passing school? Come on! Somebody help me? I'm a little lost, Texas, I'm a little lost because I'm seeing little kids with these units. How much the unit cost? A PlayStation is how much for the unit? 500? What's another one? Space Station. How much is the Xbox? About 500. The games on average cost what? When you go get a new $60. Y'all see that? So you spend $5 for the unit, it's about $60 for the game. And somebody told me the other day that there's some games you have to subscribe to online and pay a regular fee to keep playing. So this is like crack. And your son and daughter got these $500 units with $60 games, and they got like 20 games, but he barely passed the math. How in the hell you got a $500 game unit you can barely read? No special ed child should have a video game unit in their house. Unless they're deaf, they can't do nothing about it. Blind, can't do nothing about it. Brain injury, can't do nothing about it. Autistic, can't do nothing about it. But if you tell me your child got an IEP for a so-called reading disability, and a so-called math disability, and a so-called ADHD, and a so-called conduct disorder, and a so-called emotional disturbance, no video game unit in the house. Because you can do something about all of those.